military or currently serving, will you please stand? We thank you for your service. Now, will everyone join them? Please stand. And please welcome District Sales Coordinator of Texas Austin, Leann Oliver, and please join her in singing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome once again, Ms. Leann Oliver.
It's almost like I didn't go anywhere. Thanks, guys. Gosh, I love it when you sing. I didn't want to get up and perform anything, and it was good to hear you sing. So thank you, thank you. I'm Leann Oliver, in case you didn't catch that. I'm actually, I've been with Aflac for 14 years, and the last year has been really unique. So I'm going to switch gears, shift down with no clutch for just a second. But it's all good. The story ends up well, I promise. You know, last year I was actually supposed to sing the national anthem and be here with you guys, but I wound up sitting on my couch instead, texting my team back and forth and wondering how it's all going. You know, what's everybody wearing? You girls know what I'm talking about. And just wishing I was here because I knew you were having a really good time, but I wasn't able to do that because of constant cough. I could barely put on a presentation with my clients without coughing, much less sing. So after a few months of not feeling well, had several tests and some things started to change. This was me with a different hairdo about this time last year, around spring break actually. And my daughter's Jordan, who's anybody's kid constantly on their phone? Their phone? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. This is my 15-year-old at the time, who doesn't always act like that, but pretty much. And then me, we were just having spring break together, enjoying ourselves. It is possible to have a good spring break with two teenage girls, believe it or not. We returned home. I was really tired, still not feeling that well, and had some more tests, and came to find out one of those tests revealed that I had a thoracic aneurysm, which is a heart aneurysm. Not anything I was expecting, living life pretty well, but actually through that diagnosis, which tends to be the case with a lot of people who are diagnosed with a cancer, we found it some other way. I actually got the call on April the 27th of 2017 last year. You know, Ms. Oliver, we really hate to tell you this, but especially by phone, but it is cancer. It's a form of leukemia called AML. It's acute myeloid leukemia, which is, if you don't know, a blood cancer, which means it's inoperable. There's not anything we can go get out of there, not and still make it. So we need you to come to the hospital and admit today. This was at 4:30 in the afternoon. Can you be here today? We need to get you in the hospital. like, gosh, nobody knows I'm sick, really. Nobody even knows I've been tested with that bone marrow biopsy. What am I supposed to tell them? I've got 2 daughters that I still want to see one of them graduate high school. I still want to see both of them graduate college. I'd love to see them get married. I'd love to have some grandbabies to love on, get some sugar off of. I've been married for 23 years to the same guy who's in the back of the room. I'm sure he'll wave and he'll kill me later, but anyway, he's back there. We've had an awesome life together, and there's a whole bunch of years, thank you, Jesus, that I want to have together with him. Sitting around the house doing absolutely nothing, or going out and doing a lot of good fun stuff. But instead, we find ourselves all piling in the car the next morning, going to the Baylor Cancer Center and admitting. While we were admitting and going through all the different departments that you have to go through, insurance, go figure, and finances and things like that, we sit down for just a second, and I look to the hallway to my left, and who is sitting there but Bobby stinking Evans? Now, a lot of you who have been around for a few years know Bobby Evans, and I'm sure there's a lot of ways you would describe him and a lot of stories you can tell. And he's had a lot of initials behind his name, RSC, DSC, SSC, as it was back in the day, and he even went through second round on some of those things. But Bobby was not there with his Aflac cattle, and Bobby was there as a cancer survivor, and most importantly, as my friend. I didn't tell Bobby what building I was going to be in. I didn't tell him what department I was going to be in, what room, what floor. Out of all the places in Baylor Medical Center, he found the door to walk through, and that pretty much, for real, was the look on my face. That would not be the last time Bobby or his wife Karen were there to help me out. They helped me throughout the way, and you'll hear a little bit more about that as we go on. But a few days into my stay, we had a bone marrow donor transplant donor registry drive. It was at my church. I obviously could not be there because I was in the hospital, but Bobby's wife, Karen, Kathy, who's here, Doug was there, and some of my team members were there, not to sell Aflac, I promise. We didn't want to capitalize on anything. But they were there to provide some refreshments and just encourage people and to remind them about the reason that they were there. I was actually in Baylor Hospital this last summer for 113 days. It wasn't 92, it was 113 days. It's the summer of 17, and we've got a lot of stories. I'm really trying not to tell them all, but of course with chemo and different cancer treatments comes hair loss. And ironically, that was my 18-year-old's biggest fear, was me losing my hair for whatever reason. And she was the one who wanted to shave my head. She wanted to be a part of it. It was just something she could do to kind of own it and be in control, and we really actually had a very good time with that. Dustin was there at the hospital with me virtually every day. He took an indefinite leave of absence, and during this time, I just constantly in the hospital thought, it could be worse. I'm still here. I'm still able to fight. I have the will to fight. I have tons of support, friends, family, clients, and God has put in me, and I'm going to try not to preach, so stop me if I get to going too crazy. God has put in me a sense of calm that I cannot explain. I had every reason to be scared. I had every reason to be afraid. But on those very few times when fear would creep in and I would think what life was going to be without Leann here, what is my family going to do? God would help me squelch that because he knew it was the devil trying to get a foothold. And if he ever takes it, then I lost control. But I can tell you for sure, God was in control of everything. I would wake up in the morning, all hours of the night, praying to God, wake up singing and wake myself up singing. And I am no spiritual thing to be put on a pedestal. It's just what God did, and I could not be more grateful. God, like I said, had uniquely equipped me, and he'd put a circle of friends around me. Both Bobby, of course, you guys see Doug and Kathy, Kelly, who's one of our brokers. She also happens to be a personal friend that I've grown up with. Just the relationships with people through Facebook and church, praying for me constantly. And they were always by my side the entire time. Through multiple rounds of chemo, what we figured out, nothing is working. And basically the doctors were telling us that in not so many words. We've gone through round after round after round. We knew the good stuff they gave me up front, but it's just not taking effect. And we knew that I was going to be going home one of two ways. Either healed or on hospice. We just didn't know which one. I knew I was going to be healed. I just didn't know if it was going to be this side of heaven or that one. He would take care of me. But as God would have it in his plan, on August the 24th, 2017, I actually did receive a bone marrow transplant, which is awesome. Can we get a the bone marrow donor, okay? It was a 28-year-old guy from Germany who had contributed above and beyond way back in some day, swabbed his cheek, and he was a 100% match to the bone marrow that I needed. What a blessing. I actually, inside these bones, have a bone marrow DNA of a guy. So, I'm a quirk, all right? If I decide to just rob a bank, okay, and I leave a little DNA behind, they ain't coming after me. They're looking over in Germany for some guy who donated some blood back in the day, and as the doctor jokes with Dustin, you're married to a guy, so just know that. There's units of blood still in Baylor, just in case I need them again, because this guy went above and beyond, and obviously I could not be more thankful, and there's a way that you guys can be involved in doing something just like that as well. I did step down from the DSC position just in the last few weeks to kind of clear my mind, put a few things back in order, and just give that up for a little while. It's my aspiration to come back, but chemo brain is for real. It takes a toll, so I'm going to give my brain a little bit of a break for a while. But I still, as you can see, I have great support, not only in here, and you guys have been great, but from my accounts. This is one of my hometown accounts, City National Bank, and that's just a few of them. Who were there for me. They sent me cards, they called and texted, and as a matter of fact, the girl who's sitting to my right, your left, in white, she was actually in Baylor the same time as I was with breast cancer, and she was already back at work. So we were able to actually do a little Aflac at the hospital. The claim, you might wonder, did I have Aflac? Well, gosh, wouldn't you hope so? Yeah. The claim was the easiest part of the summer of 17. Dustin would get our bills, scan them into the computer, send them to me at the hospital. I logged in and uploaded them, and the next day I could check my deposit and balances at the bank. And there were thousands and thousands of dollars in my checking account the very next day after I had put the claim. It works. I've been doing this for 14 years. I filed a few claims for myself, a ton for everybody else, but don't lie like you don't think this once in a while, okay? It doesn't really work. It really works. $300 a day in the hospital, and then it doubles, okay? Thousands in first occurrence, because of course I had the $500 billing benefit every year. Radiation, chemotherapy, blood and plasma, I'm preaching to the choir here, seriously, okay? Thousands in a transplant. You do the math. I'm not going to give you what the final total was. I don't want you judging how I spend my money. But I'm just telling you, it paid thousands. It was a guilty amount. And it did exactly what it said it would do, and then a few. Why did it pay? Well, I had policies. I had a cancer and a hospital plan and some other things as well, but those both paid. I want to ask you guys, what do you have? Do every one of you have policies with Aflac? I know that seems, for some of you, like kind of a silly question. It's not a silly question. I've trained plenty of agents. I've been an agent. I'm still an agent. I know how it goes, especially when you're brand new and you're pinching every penny. But how can you build a career on something that you don't participate in because you're not sure if you really fully believe in it? If you wonder if you should believe in it or not, ask me. Ask your coordinators who have been around long enough to process lots and lots of claims. And I'm telling you, we were fortunate. Dustin and I were fortunate. We had health insurance. Dustin had sick and overtime through DPS. My husband's a state trooper that works for the state of Texas. Me, I'm self-employed for the last 14 years, and I've had residual income from all those policies that we've sold. $250,000 in AP my first year. I don't want to brag, but that's okay. Worked my way into a CIT and DSC position. I had a $1.3 million district. Life was good. And my team, don't let this go without notice. My team helped me feign while I was in the hospital bed last year. Can I get a round of applause for them? So the point is, I was able to maintain and focus on getting better instead of recovering from a bunch of bills, because we all know, and if you don't already, your mental status has a lot to do with the cells inside your body and you getting better. What about you? Would you be able to rest that easy because you got policies? What about your policyholders? What about the people that are on your lead and prospects list that you still need to see, that you need to go back and see, who told you, no, we're really not interested, or really don't want to do it at this point? Is their life worth you making a second, a third, a 20th trip back by to see? Because things change, people change, and you need to feel good about the opportunity that you give them. I can tell you, it's completely worth it. Would they be able to spend 113 days in the hospital? Would they be able to take a few months off work after those 113 days? Would their spouse be able to indefinitely take off work to be with them and have a dual loss of income? For less than the cost of a meal for you and your spouse or your whoever's with you, in Austin, Texas, you could have a cancer plan paid for the month. And that goes for basically anything that we do. Just know, and any coordinator will tell you, or anybody who's been around for more than a couple of years, not everybody's going to take what you put out there. But that doesn't change the fact that we need to share it with them, educate them on it, let them know how much it is, and give them the choice, because how sad would it be later if they come back with a diagnosis and say, why didn't you tell me about that? None of us want to beat up our friends and family and beat them over the head with things, but what about later if they come back and say, I didn't know what you did for a living. Why didn't you tell me that? Who's going to feel bad? The next slide, and I'm sure I've gone overboard on that, but the next, I want to switch just for a second and remind you guys that I'm almost done about Be the Match. This is not a dating service, I swear. Be the Match is what saved my life. If any of you watched Good Morning America and heard Robin Roberts' story, it's the exact same organization. It's called Be the Match, and they are a bone marrow transplant organization that helps find a match for you. It's hard for anyone, and I'm not sure how to phrase this. Dustin's probably cringing. In the most politically correct way, but if you are in any minority at all, this organization needs you more than ever. I was lucky to find a match. There are some ethnicities and people groups that have virtually no one in the registry, and if you get a diagnosis, it's going to be tough. What we've got for you here is just a slide on Be the Match. There are some papers on the center of each table that give you the same information. I want you to take those with you. If you need them, you can. If you need more, you can let me know. But this is a link to Be the Match. It gives you all the information that you need to know. I'm telling you, when you go to these or they send you information, you are not having to give them blood. If you go to a donor drive, they're not drawing blood. It's a simple Q-tip. I mean, who could be scared of a little bitty Q-tip? That's not that bad. That's my daughter, by the way. But there is a link here that if you will go to that link, that is specifically designed for today and tonight, although it will last for a few months, but it was designed just for us so that we could help you guys reach out to Be the Match and get a packet from them. They will send you a packet that's just got a Q-tip and a few question marks in it. All you do is swab your cheek with a Q-tip. I'm telling you. Adrian Newman, where are you? How hard was it? It was super easy. Okay? You're just swabbing the inside of your cheek, you put it in a bag, send it back to them, and if they find a match one day, you are just committing that you would be there for that person. And all you're doing is giving a little blood. It's not like the old days where they're drilling into all different parts of your body. Don't be scared. Look, guys, this is why I am here today. I will get off my soapbox. I'm going to move over here so I don't rant some more. But this is completely worthwhile. And Dustin and I are looking at building that dream home that we were planning on before diagnosis and having a long future together. So guys, I thank you. I know I went on too long, but thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Leann. Ladies and gentlemen, will you now please help me welcome World Leader and Director of Texas Texas Austin, Mr. Craig Weeks.
She was too quick. I've got a gift for you.